Howdy y'all, Aaron and Kara here, coming to you from the south side of the Dominican Republic in Boca Chica. We've been here about a month doing a little bit of boat work and just exploring the island, and wanted to take a couple minutes to introduce our next video.
Hey guys, this video again is from a year ago when we were in Eleuthera, the Bahamas. I feel like a lot of people skip this island, but you shouldn't. It's an adventurer's paradise. From caves to Queen's Bath, it has it all. Take a look and enjoy. Royal Island Eleuthera, with its naturally protected cove, is the first place you can seek refuge after leaving the Abacos. And of course, with our luck, we found ourselves ducking in for yet another blow. Even though the island is private and you aren't allowed anywhere near the exclusive resort for the privilege, they do tolerate cruisers exploring the ruins of an old mansion circa 1930. The only place to leave the dinghy was on what was left of a crumbling concrete dock.
It feels a little more adventure-y when you have to work for it.
Hopping over rebar, we made our way onto the island and found the large steps leading up towards the ruins. Pausing briefly to peer down at the terrace garden overlooking the bay, we noticed the rusty flagpole still standing, marking the once grand entrance to this magnificent island estate. At the top, we found several buildings, all connected by old paths with rock walls. The main house, 2 stories at one time, was now missing most of the second floor. The first floor still had what appeared to be 2 bedrooms, each with their own fireplace, and a bathroom that also had a fireplace with water pipes running through it to heat the water for the concrete tub. There's a lot of fireplaces, which I get because there's no electricity for heat, but I don't think it'll get that cold in here. Came up these stairs to the second floor. There's a whole bunch of exposed nails and old rotting wood, and I think a big termite's nest right there, so probably not wanting to stand on this floor, but there is a second story. I bet they had a clear view of the harbor right there. The separate large bar area still had the concrete bar, complete with conch shells placed there by fellow travelers. And climbing up on top, you could see that it once had a view fit for a king. Alright, we're literally in the trees right now. We're on top of the bar, and I'll flip this around, but you can see the Atlantic Ocean and the bay that we're in. So you can see how beautiful this was if you cut down some of this foliage. Oh wow.
That's pretty trippy.
The Great Hall, with its enormous fireplace, once had beautiful tile and an arched ceiling, but had collapsed within a year of us visiting. There were several other smaller buildings, perhaps guest houses, a kitchen with a stone oven, and a detached bathroom. Look, that looks like an old outdoor fire, like oven or something. This whole big crack in the wall here?
Oh yeah, it does look like it is. Check out, there's a chimney and everything.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's got a tiled floor in here.
Really?
It's got all the old tiles on it.
Beautiful tile is still visible in most of the main rooms, with built-in shelving and fixtures, along with trees and roots pushing their way through in an effort to reclaim what was once theirs. A path running by the rock stockades from the sheep rearing days led us to the Atlantic Ocean. We came around this corner and see the Atlantic Ocean in what could have been a protected swimming cove, but surely not during this cold front, and this is why we call it a blow. A bit windy. Nice quiet little sail today from Spanish Wells to through Current Cut, and we're going to end up at the glass window. Airing up at the bow on our pretty little sail.
Going through the Current Cut here on Eleuthera. The sun actually popped out. We got the current behind us. Had a really nice sail down here. We cranked the motor up to get through the cut because we are not that good at sailors. But look how beautiful this water is, even on a fairly cloudy day. Just a really cool place. And we're not even to the exumas yet.
Way in the distance is glass window. Eleuthera is 110 miles long and narrows at the glass window to a strip only as wide as the bridge that spans across it. In the 19th century, when the bridge was naturally formed and made of rock, it created an impression of a natural window. So when Wenzel Homer painted this phenomenon and named the piece the glass window, the name stuck. The natural bridge has long been destroyed from hurricanes, and the succession of highway bridges that have replaced it haven't fared much better. Water coming in from the Atlantic. These seemingly harmless waves of water that are pushing through the glass window can turn ugly in what Bahamians call rages. And enormous waves from the Atlantic side, some reaching heights of 100 feet, can spew boulders up into the air and knock out bridges. In fact, the rage on Halloween Day 1991 knocked the present bridge 11 feet over.
Got knocked over like 8 feet during a hurricane.
Wow.
So like the whole island you couldn't get, for a while you couldn't get both directions. You couldn't get all the way down the island basically.
From on top of the bridge, you can see a phenomenal contrast between the dark blue Atlantic Ocean thrashing against the rocks and seemingly eroding the earth right before our eyes, and only a quick step to the other side of the bridge is the calm turquoise waters of the Bahama Banks, where Vela lies peacefully with her buddy boat next place. Behind me, where Aaron's standing, is Queen's Bath.
I want to go down and get in.
Alright.
But first I'm going to want to check this out.
A half-mile south of the glass bridge lies Queen's Bath, also known as the hot tubs. These natural pools, carved by centuries of waves pounding the rock, are filled with dramatic crashing waves, shells, and small sea life that wash over from the Atlantic Ocean. Once settled during low tide, the crystal clear water is supposedly warmed by the sun, creating hot tub-like temperatures. But that wasn't the case for us coming during high tide and in February. So while a dip in the pool wasn't for us, we still had a wonderful show of the colliding waves. Down inside Queen's Bath. first cruiser-style private beach bonfire was the perfect end to our fun-filled day.
Not a bad way to end the day.
No, pretty good day.
Where are we? Glass window on Eleuthera.
Twin Sisters Beach.
Twin Sisters Beach. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Hatchet Bay, named for the harbor shaped like a head of a hatchet, was formed during the 1940s when a 90-foot channel was cut into the rock, transforming a former salt pond into a bay to facilitate boats coming into the harbor. Known as the country's safest harbor, the completely enclosed bay provides terrific protection from foul winds and storms. Dramatic and bold, the entrance to Hatchet Bay can be intimidating. But even though it seems like you can touch each side of the rock wall as you enter, there's plenty of room, and the passage is actually deep with 23-foot depth along its length. Depths inside Hatchet Bay can average anywhere from 7 to 25 feet, and holding is excellent with the former lake having a thick mud bottom, unlike the rough sandy bottom we're so accustomed to for all other anchorages in the Bahamas. We got a ride to the caves!
All right.
We had our first experience accidentally hitchhiking along Queens Highway. Alright, walking along the path to Hatchet Bay Caves.
After our long, arduous hitchhike ride.
Yeah. First hitchhiking without actually trying to hitchhike experience.
I thought you were looking for a ride. Well, we'll take one.
We hopped in the back of the truck, which made the 2-mile trek so much more pleasant. Heading down into the cave. With over a mile of twisting passages, the Hatchet Bay Cave is filled with stalactites and stalagmites, which take on the appearance of an underground cathedral. Centuries-old graffiti of charcoal signatures line the walls, and even though this cave system has yet to be fully explored, a direct walk between the two entrances is fairly straightforward, with limited opportunities for an adult-sized person to get lost.
Caw-caw!
But there is a third level, which was watery and dark, and we opted to forgo. The 2-mile walk back from the caves. Hopefully some random person will come pick us up. Built in the 1930s, these silos stand out against the Eleuthera skyline like quiet giants and have withstood many hurricanes. They are what remain of an agriculture history where Hatchet Bay Plantation provided poultry products for the entire Bahamas. These silos were owned by the plantation and used for storing food for the animals until the early 1980s. Free-range cows. Cut is right there.
We are leaving Hatchet Bay. Just going through this cool little man-made cut, heading for Rock Sound. Well guys, thanks for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, please click on subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.
Thanks guys, have a good one.
Bye y'all.